Hello, everybody. My name is Benny, and welcome to The Fool's Apprentice. Today is hashtag Saturday. And I love hashtag Saturday. It's one of my favorite ones to do because I get to go back and watch a whole bunch of videos that people had done before, and I get to get inspired, and then I pick one. And today is a VR to Moon Scarab. I practiced saying that, and I still had to look over. The VR is to Moon Scarab, and it is hashtag one tarot card. I that's why I'm not an actor. I cannot memorize lines. So before we begin, I have been little by little updating my workspace, my tarot space, my video space. And so before you'll see that I changed my cards out because while I'm working, I didn't want my cards that I value the most out just in case an accident happened. So what I decided to do is take some cards that I'll actually use or that take up a lot of space, and I have them here. I also went and got a couple of lights. Let me know what you think. I can actually change the colors of these. I'm going to play with them until I kind of figure out what I like. And what I do like about these is that they're like this big. Like if I do it here, this looks huge. If I do it here, they're tiny, right? So let me see. They're about the size of a tarot card, I guess, a little bigger. And we'll see how it works with them. I bought little stands for them so that way I could pop them from the side. So we'll see how it goes. But it's growing on me just a tad. Also, I'm not done yet, but I got my little shrine area right here. I got some paintings that are going to go right here that I'm going to do. And I use this area not only for my tarot uh, cards and my readings, but I also use it as a spiritual space for me. Why am I going into all that? I don't know. I should make a video about that, right? So I'll have to write that down. I might actually do that. Anyways, that's not why you're here. You're here to look at a hashtag. So let me flip the camera around and we'll see how it goes. All right, one moment. And I'm back. So this hashtag deals with 10 questions and picking one card from a tarot deck. I don't know if other people ended up using different decks for the cards. I saw several, but I didn't see anybody do that. But I did see other people use, I guess, maybe their favorite deck or a deck spoke to them at that time. I'm going to use a Rider-Waite-Smith clone. The name of this deck, and it's my favorite one of the clones. It's the Neo Rider Tarot Collection. It's a oh my, I it's so soft and petal-like, but I am not a big fan of the colors of the original Rider-Waite-Smith. So, but I did want one that had the exact imagery. However, I wanted something that was aesthetically pleasing to me when it came to the color palette, and this is the deck that did it for me. So, 10 questions, 10 cards, and let's see what I end up picking. All right. So, the first question is, which one card is inspiring to you? And I can give you a million guesses, and I think you're going to be wrong every time. So I'm not going to make y'all struggle to figure it out. It is the Fool card. Of course it is, Ben. Of course it is. I ended up picking the Fool for this particular one because it really was the Fool that kind of inspired this whole channel. I had been looking for a YouTuber that was tracking their experience as a YouTuber, and I couldn't find one. I personally couldn't find one. I'm sure there's somebody else that's done it, but I wasn't able to find one. And so I said, well, you know what? Since I'm learning this, I'll do it. And so I came up with this idea on how I was going to document my journey the same way this guy is doing his journey. And his name really inspired the channel name, obviously, right? The Fool's Apprentice. And I'm going to tell you, I'm here. You may not see me, but I'm over here behind the dog, relying on this guy to keep me alive. So who's really the fool, right? But this card really, really means a lot to me. It really reminds me that, Every day for me is a brand new journey. Every experience that I have is brand new. Really live in it, really be in the moment, take chances and go for it. Because if I don't, I'm really going to miss out. And I like the idea that this guy is just going out there, experiencing the world for the first time with childlike eyes. And that's what it's been like for me to do this channel. So the Fool for me has been inspiring. So, question number 2. Which one card is the most distressing to you? So, there were 3 cards that I picked, and they all bothered me for 3 different reasons. But this one really bothered me the most. And I actually even had to think about, like, if I pick this card, then I'm going to have to talk a little bit about why. And I don't know if I'm comfortable sharing as much as this card kind of needs me to share for you to understand. But I'm going to share very minimally and very broadly so you kind of get the idea. And it is the 7 of Swords. And the 7 of Swords, I never... This question actually kind of made me look at myself through the cards. And I will tell you that I was not always the best person. And I have made some really serious mistakes in my life that I had to really own up to and face. And that was difficult to do. And when I look back at that younger self of who I was, my heart breaks for him. And so this card will always represent that younger person that eventually became the person I am today and can look back, not with regret, not even really with sorrow, but with gratitude that I am no longer in any kind of way this card. So this card is distressing because it just takes me back to a place where things were really bad for me. But you know what? Those experiences made me who I am today. So no regrets. The next card is, which card is the most enigmatic to you? All right. I did not include the court cards because I do not know the court cards well enough or at all to be able to pick them. So I picked from each majors and the tens. And this one is the one that makes me have to pause and think. Now, the 3 of Swords really deals with like heartache and sorrow and grief, and that's how a lot of people see this card. But as I've gotten to learn the card, and as I've gotten to see others' perspectives, hear other people's perspectives, I really got a better understanding what this card means for me. And the swords really deal with the mind, the intellect, things that happen above the neck. And the way this card is generally read, it happens emotionally within the heart, within the body. And I think for me, there is a path that is missing, and that is the experience of what's happening intellectually that causes heartache. And so when this card comes up, I always have to kind of ground myself and think about the card. For me, it's like I speak 3 languages, and my third language and when it comes to my proficiency, is a language that I have to pause to gather my thoughts to get to what I want to say, or get to a place to say what I mean. And so this card does that for me, because if I'm not careful, I will read it in a way that doesn't really resonate with me, because I'm so used to hearing it being a very emotional card, like, a cups card. So that's the one that I have to pause and think about. The next card is, or question, which one card would you put in a 1,000-year time capsule for future mankind? And there were several cards that I had picked. But then I started thinking, okay, so 1,000 years from now, what do I want that society, whatever it looks like, to think of us? What message do I want to get across? And like I said, there were several, but I think the one thing that really stood out for me was the card of Three of Pentacles, that working together is how we succeed. Working together as one unit gets us to the goals that we want to get to. That not being selfish with the knowledge that we have, not being afraid to ask for, help when we need it. And this card really, for me, shows how people are working together to accomplish a goal. And that's how I want the future to see us. And I really like this card because it shows that it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, you can take and give, knowledge and skill set, experience from anybody. It doesn't have to be from one particular gender or another. So that's why I picked this one. Okay, this is bothering me. Okay, so number 6. Oh no, actually, we're at number 5. If you were elected president of a newly created country, which card will you use as a flag? Man, uh, wouldn't that be nice for all of us? So the card that I chose is the Sun card, uh, for several reasons. I like that this card represents happiness and joy, and the ultimate goal that I would want my people to have is getting to a place where life and living in my country is a joyful one. Uh, it's like, it's a book. I'm trying to remember the name of the book. It is, The Art of Happiness, by the Dalai Lama. I love that idea of working towards happiness. It doesn't mean that it happens all the time. It doesn't mean that everybody's going to achieve it. But I love the idea that the possibility is there. That because we got one life. That's it. We got one. And if I could help people get to a place where they can experience some joy in their life, then I think I've done a really good job. And on a flag, this is beautiful. I love this particular image with the colors. It's just very bold and bright and beautiful. But it's not overwhelming. And the kid doesn't creep me out. Let me tell you, most kids creep me out in the Sun card, but this one doesn't. And yes, some of you already know me and sunflowers don't work, but these sunflowers don't bother me. But it's not about the sunflower. It's really about the message. And when you look at, let me phrase that. When I look at this card, I smile. And so that's why I picked this card. Now, if the next question, number 6, is if you were Earth's ambassador to an alien civilization, which one card would you use to represent humanity? And I was like, wow, that's deep. And so I had several cards on this one as well. And I ended up taking the 6 of Pentacles. And I would like to believe that we are a blessed people and that we are gracious and grateful enough to be able to help those who need help when we're capable of being there for them. And I think this image clearly depicts someone helping someone else. It's monetarily, but I think that's just one part of what this card means. Being there for somebody else, giving them space to be heard, giving them time to be seen. Those are things that I would like, an alien civilization, oh my God, an alien civilization, I have to pronounce it very clearly, an alien civilization to know about us is that we got each other's back. That when the chips are down, we will help each other. We will make sure that we all stand and that we all cross that line together. And we do so by making sure that we share what we got so no one's left behind. That's what I would like the alien nation to know. All right. Number 7. Which card represents someone you love? Okay, guys. I have been in love for just over a year. I cannot express the joy and the emotion that this person brings to me when I share the same space. And it is a card I already chose because this is how I feel on the inside when I walk into the room and my 1-year-old nephew sees me, giggles, runs to me to pick him up. I cannot tell you the joy that this little boy gives me. My brother waited so long to have a child of his own, and me and my brother are extremely close. But never did I expect to fall in love with this little boy the way I do. I drive several miles away at least once a month just so I could spend time with him. Thanksgiving weekend, 3 days, it was me and him for 3 days, chasing each other, playing with toys, sitting on the couch and watching cartoons. I'm not a cartoon person, but let me tell you, I had a really good time with these, cartoons that are made for toddlers. It was just so great. Now, was it perfect all the time? No, he's 1 year old. He's very demanding. It's all about him. But I feel so very, very blessed to have him in my life. And so this is the card that represents that little boy. And I didn't even make the correlation of the little boy in here. It's just what the card represents. And question number 8. Which one card would you choose as to cut the cover of your autobiography book? This one was pretty easy for me. And that is the Strength card. I could literally write an autobiography of my life. If I shared what challenges I faced in my life, many of y'all would think I was lying. I look back at my life and I'm in awe sometimes that I made it this far. I had so many hurdles I needed to overcome in so many different ways that sometimes it felt unsurmountable. It felt like I was at the bottom of a well, inside the bottom of a mountain, looking up in the darkness to one tiny little star as it rained, it thundered, it snowed with monsters, dinosaurs, and all I had to do was get to the other side. Very melodramatic, right? But I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say that I had to rely on some really, really deep internal courage and resilience and the willingness to fight and the willingness to persevere and win. And this is my birth card on top of that. So very easily the cover of my book. But what I would change is that would be me, and then this would be Precious. That would be funny. All right, number 9. If you could upgrade a minor arcana card to a major arcana status, which would it be? Now, I don't know if anybody else picked this card, and this card, for me, is the most emotionally impactful one. And so I ended up choosing the 5 of Pentacles. This is a card that this was my burden. And this was what I use to overcome what I'd been dealt. And I don't think I'm the only one in this world that has had to live the Five of Pentacles. I think all of us do in one way or another. And that's what makes life worth living. That's what makes a good day a great day, is because we overcome moments like this. And a Five of Pentacles does not have to be something melodramatic. It could be just a simple bad day that is not going well, but it feels like the worst day of your life. And so I think this card would be a good archetype on resiliency. Which I think is very, very different from strength. And so I would actually have a card called Resilience or Resiliency. And the Five of Pentacle does for me. When I buy a deck, this is the first card I look at. Not the Fool, this card. If it moves me in some way, or if it makes me just pause, it makes me smile. Yes, it can make me smile. Then that's a deck that I want. All right, what's next? The last one. The last one. If you could mentor one of the pages from the tarot, which would it be? So, like I said, I don't know the court cards yet. So I had to read them all. And I ended up picking the Page of Swords. Intellect, right? And so I'm gonna go to my little book because I want to make sure that I don't mistake the meaning. So this one, the keywords are planning and inspiration, fairness and rider. And it says, when the Page of Swords comes up in a reading, it can signify you or someone you may know. He is message bearer who will bring you news about the truth or daily news. The Page of Swords is youthful, thoughtful, and direct. He may also be chatty, yet somewhat abrasive, with a sharp mind. He uses his intellect a lot and might be in school or just completing school, always playing by the rules. He is considered a loner, but if he isn't a loner, or he is quite the opposite, being too friendly and full of gossip. He may be an Aquarius, a Gemini, which I am, or Libra under the air sign. And there are a lot of qualities that this page has that I had when I was younger. I could be abrasive and chatty, and I'm smart. I'm very quick-witted. I have a very sharp tongue. And those were character defects that I really needed to work on. And I have improved so much. I like who I am. I like that I don't have to apologize for saying something I should have, filtered out. And frankly, I don't even think about things like that as often as I used to. And so I think I could help the page grow in maturity and wisdom quickly compared to the other pages in the deck. So, those are my choices, and I hope that you found them interesting. Okay, and those are my choices, and I hope that you found them interesting. This was actually a really neat hashtag. Really made me kind of look at myself and see cards in a different perspective than I didn't expect, especially the Seven of Swords. That one has a brand new meaning for me that will never leave me. And until next time, my name is Benny, and I am the Fool's Apprentice. Bye, guys.